this is Trisha from Tribe to Village. This is our tribe, our village, our family. Thank you for joining me. And today we're talking about your cookie, your WAP, your vajayjay, whatever you call it. We're talking about vaginal health. And today we have nurse practitioner Kiana Joseph Lee, who's here to help us navigate those waters. Hi, Kiana.
Hi, how are you?
Great. So, Kiana, can you just tell us what are some red flags to let us know that things are not so healthy down there?
One of the main things that my patients complain about, maybe it's like an odor or like some discharge. Discharge, depending, some complain about like cottage cheese white discharge, or just some clear discharge that doesn't have the greatest smell. Also, another thing a lot of women complain about is vaginal itching.
Itching. Okay, so can we break that? What kind of smell are you talking about? Are you talking about a fishy smell or
exactly?
anything?
Mostly it's a fishy smell that they complain about.
Okay, ladies, so fishy is not normal.
Yeah, so a lot of times when they complain about the fishy odor, especially if they notice it more like after sexual intercourse, and they say that no matter how much they wash, they still smell this odor and they don't really know how to get rid of it. So a lot of times what that happens, women have something called bacterial vaginosis, which is just an overgrowth of bacteria that's down there.
Bacterial vaginosis.
Bacterial vaginosis is not sexually transmitted, so no need for you or your partner to worry about getting treated for it. So some things that we like to prescribe is something called Metrogel, which is a medication where you insert it yourself in your vagina. Drinking a lot of water, that would help. Wearing condoms during sexual intercourse, it helps. And even when you use the restroom, wiping from front to back, that could kind of decrease some of these issues.
Okay, that's important. You touched on something. You said that your patients complain that no matter how much they wash, that it doesn't go away. Recently the celebrities were out here talking about sometimes they take a bath like once a week or every other day. I subscribe to the daily baths, but also some people use the vaginal wash, like other creams and sprays and peppermint things. So how can we keep that clean and safe at the same time?
So to keep it clean, definitely taking a wash at least once or twice a day. You can do that.
Daily, people,
not
daily.
Daily or twice a day. Sometimes to make stuff worse, people insert, like you were saying, like the creams and stuff, that can kind of actually make things worse, like douching and whatnot. You're reintroducing bacteria into your vagina. So, wearing cotton underwear, that's a good way to help. So it's not like, everything's just trapped with the synthetic underwear. Kind of gives your area, some time to breathe. Also,
go commando.
Say that again?
Go commando.
Well, at least it kind of airs out the area. So, I mean, you can do that, or, just, cotton underwear is a good place to start too. And then just like I said before, drinking a lot of water, because sometimes when you have sugary drinks and whatnot, that can also kind of affect the pH of your vagina as well.
So your diet matters.
It does. It really does.
Okay, great. And then you mentioned about the discharge. Can you tell us what type of discharge is a clear sign to call your GYN ASAP?
So if you have a cottage cheese-ish whitish discharge, that can indicate yeast. So, some people try to over the counter, a monostat, see if that helps, especially that accompanying with vaginal itching. And if that, sometimes they feel like they take that, it doesn't help, then, they'll try to, contact their GYN and see if they can get something else. Discharge, especially if you notice any yellowish or greenish discharge sometimes too, that could also indicate a sexually transmitted disease. So you would want to get that evaluated as well. Sometimes also, like we were talking about before with the bacterial vaginosis, it can be It might not necessarily be discharge, but we normally have clear vaginal discharge down there anyways. So that one, if it's like clear and in the normal vaginal discharge, then that's fine too. Just something that will jump out at you, like very very thick white discharge, greenish yellow discharge. That's something that shouldn't really be down there.
So something that's like, oh, that's different. Then
Yeah, but you know your
call.
body, so you know when something's gonna be off.
Yeah. And is that discharge a concern if it's discharged by itself, or if it's like paired with something else, like the smell and the itchiness, or is it enough by itself to be a concern?
So usually, sometimes discharge, I feel like if it's paired with something else. Because like I said before, we do have normal vaginal discharge, and that's just normal. But if it's like I said, the cottage cheese-ish type of discharge, or and then you associate that with vaginal itching, or sometimes the odor, then there's something going wrong.
So the WAP is normal as long as it's not cottage cheese or different colors.
Yeah, generally, and it just depends on how how you are. And like I said, you're the best one that knows your body, so you'll tell if something is off.
Okay, great. So we spoke about the smell, about the discharge, and with the discharge, you mentioned a yeast infection, which is pretty common amongst women, right?
Yeast infection is pretty common.
Yeah.
Also, the bacterial vaginosis is pretty common as well. So a lot of times too, when you go to your GYN, sometimes you don't even notice anything. So you do your pap smears. You can also do STD testing. You won't know until sometimes the test comes back, and then we have to call you back with your result. Like, this is what we found, and this is like, for example, chlamydia is very common too, and this is what we want to treat you for. But you don't want to leave that untreated, because a lot of times it can lead to pelvic pain, and sometimes that can left untreated could also lead to infertility as well.
So if something is off, ladies, make sure you contact your GYN to just check it out, because better safe than sorry, right, Kiana?
Exactly.
So you mentioned, like you said, these things are very common, and I just want to go back to the bacterial infection. Is that because you just dirty? You're just a dirty person, and all the bacteria is there?
No, not even. We normally we have good bacteria in our vagina. So if you just have an overgrowth of it, then that can lead to issues. So it doesn't, just because you have it, it doesn't mean that you're dirty at all. Not at all.
That's important to know. There's no shame in going to seek help for it, because it's not a reflection of you being a dirty person. Like Kiana said, sometimes it just happens, the overgrowth of bacteria, or our diet, right?
Yeah.
Or our clothing, or an STI.
Or, especially like, a lot of people wear like tight pants and tight jeans, so that can also
leggings
increase your risk of, having some sort of issue going on down there as well.
Okay, thank you so much. So I know you mentioned some tips of keeping everything down there healthy. You said make sure you drink lots of water, wear loose clothing, cotton underwear, air out the area. Do you have any other like everyday tips to keep things, healthy with our cookie?
So those are great tips to do. But if people feel like they're having they're doing all that and they're having recurrent infection, one thing people could do is something called boric acid for vaginal suppositories, which is only for your vagina only. And you insert them nightly in your vagina for 7 days, and then twice a week as needed. And that's good for recurrent bacterial vaginosis or having yeast infection too.
Oh, wow. So is that over the counter, or do you need
That's over the counter, yeah. A lot of times you can get it from Amazon.
Oh.
And it's only for your vagina only, not to be inserted anywhere else, because it can be dangerous for your body. And then you'll see it on the bottle. It says for vaginal pH.
Okay, and if for example you self-diagnose yourself, but it's not really, you thought it was a yeast infection, but it's not a yeast infection, and you take that, will it cause any harm to your body?
Not necessarily, but when in doubt, if you try to treat yourself with something that's not working, then I would just pay a visit to your GYN so they can take a better look, send off tests just to get a better, just to help treat you and evaluate you better.
Great. Okay. And I've also, that's great. That's the first time I'm learning of that. I've also heard about yogurt to treat yeast infections. Now, is that yogurt that you ingest, or do you have to physically put the yogurt on like an ointment? Because I've heard both ways.
No, so just eating like regular yogurt, not like a probiotic to help with the yeast infection.
Oh,
Yeah.
so drink your water and have a cup of yogurt and wash it down with some water, right?
Yeah, so things that will also help is like, unscented soaps, like just regular soap that you use to clean yourself.
Really? So no fancy passion fruit body wash.
If you're having an issue, I'll just like, use something unscented to help prevent, to help prevent taking care of the area, making it worse. So anything unscented that can kind of help and decrease some of the symptoms and whatnot.
That's good. And that might also lead to itching, right? If you're sensitive to it and you're not aware.
It could, especially if people have like very sensitive skin.
Yes. Oh, great point. And yeah, that reminds me, we didn't really touch on itching. Is there ever a time when vaginal itching is normal?
I mean, if you have an itch, like it's just like an itch here or there, fine. But if it's like all the time, then that's how you know there's something wrong with an issue.
Okay.
But sometimes people just get sweaty and you just have a little itch. But if it's like consistent, then you know that's something that's not normal.
Then seek help.
Yeah.
Seek help. Okay, and then what does vaginal itching usually indicate? You know how the discharge usually indicates, a yeast infection or an STI. What does a vaginal itching, kind of gives us an insight into?
So most of the time, vaginal itching, someone most likely has a yeast infection.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the main thing with the yeast infection.
So you'll have vaginal itching coupled with vaginal discharge then in that case.
You could have vaginal discharge, but some people, they just have itching, there's no discharge. It just depends on the scenario, what's happening. Okay.
All right, Kiana. Well, thank you so much, Kiana Joseph Lee, for talking to us about our vaginal health and giving us some practical tips that everyone could use to keep it healthy all year round. Thank you so much for your time.
Oh, thanks for having me.
And let's continue to elevate and grow together. Please don't forget to like, comment, share, and hit that notification button so you never miss another video from Tribe to Village. And let's continue to elevate and grow together. Until next time, bye.
Bye.